Hi there, I'm Jen, this is Remembered Reads, and this is going to be a wrap-up for March Mystery Madness 2018. Before I go any further, I wanted to thank first Elizabeth for inviting me to join in on this year, and who also did a huge amount of work towards this. I also want to mention Di, who did a great job dealing with the Goodreads group and coming up with clever Goodreads titles, and also Courtny, who did all the great graphics that were used for the thumbnails, and also all of the other hosts of March Mystery Madness, all of whom are going to be linked down below. So, during March Mystery Madness, I read 9 mysteries, and I'm going to take a look at the challenges and see which fit in. I didn't do a real TBR for this because I try not to plan my reading that much ahead, so I didn't have ones listed out for the challenges, but I thought I'll go through them and see what maybe fell into the challenge categories. So, challenge number 1 was Shelf. The title of the Goodreads thread, I'm going to read them because they're a lot of fun, was Mr. Green hid the lead pipe on a shelf in the library. So, Shelf, none of the books that I read came off of my bookshelf because they all came from the library, but that does mean that, aside from the ones that were ebooks, and actually, were any of them? I don't think they were. However, they did all come off of library shelves, and I did have to go to the library and pick them off of the hold shelf, so hey, Shelf. Challenge number 2 is Borrowed, and the clue sentence that was used is Miss Scarlet borrowed a knife from the kitchen. As I said, everything that I read I took out of the library, so they were all borrowed. Challenge number 3 is New. The clue sentence is Mrs. Peacock concocted a new poison in the conservatory. A number of the books that I read were new series to me. I think there were 3 series where I had already been reading that series, but a number of them were new to me. So The Lost Ones by Sheena Kamal, The Unquiet Dead by Ausma Zehamat Khan, the first 2 Thomas Lynch books by Stephanie Gale, and The Widows of Malabar Hill doesn't have a sequel yet, but I believe that that's the start of a new series. So those are all series that were new to me. Challenge number 4 is Historical. Professor Plum gave a historical lecture in the study with a candlestick. Widows of Malabar Hill is set in 1920s Bombay, and not quite as deep in history, but the Thomas Lynch series, the 2 that I read, which were Idle Fears and Idle something else, I don't remember now, are set in 1990s Connecticut. So it's really only 20 years ago, but it's the past. Challenge number 5 is Foreign. Colonel Mustard used a foreign object and the rope in the kitchen. And of the books that I read, 2 were exclusively set in the United States, 2 were set partially in the UK, partially in the US, and partially in the Czech Republic. 1 was set partially in the UK, partially in the US, and partially in Hong Kong. 1 was set primarily in India, but a bit in the UK. 1 was set just in Canada. 1 was set in Canada with flashbacks to Bosnia. And 1 was set in Turkey. So, good collection of countries. And challenge number 6 is Opposite. And our clue sentence is Mrs. White sat opposite the others holding the revolver in the dining room. And for that one, I have a few answers. Most of the books that I read were standard prose, but 2 of them were comic trades. So those are kind of opposites in terms of style. Also, most of the books that I read were fairly serious, but the exception would be the books in the Ravi Pi series and the book in the Turkish Delight series, which are both very tongue-in-cheek and over the top, whereas the rest of them were quite serious and straightforward and dealing with serious issues. So that's a tonal opposition that those were in as well. So yeah, that is my March Mystery Madness in review. If you were taking part in March Mystery Madness, did you have fun? Did you enjoy it? Are you sick of mysteries and are not going to read any for months, several months now? Because I feel a little bit like I'm on that train. I still have a few mysteries out of the library that I didn't get around to reading, and I think I might take them back without reading them because I'm not sure I really want to read more mysteries right now. But we'll see. Anyway, that's it for now. Ciao.